what generally, who needs now help, and what are some of the niches that we see? Families, a big issue between children and parents. I run lots of parenting programs. Parents don't know how to adapt. They don't know which guidelines to give. If they always ask for how much screen is too much, and there is no direct response to this. It's the problem in this world. Nothing is black and white. Yeah, it's what screen time, what are they doing there? It's very individual, very granular work. Schools moving to digital, e-learning, universities, yeah, keeping students not distracted. You know that even some schools now stop building like large auditoriums because they know that students cannot sit during the lecture. And we're talking about some big names there. Ivana's sector, software and device producers. Classic example would be a bank who would come to me and say, oh, so we're building the app. How do we make it, you know, users more engaged, and how often should we send notifications? Then we'll have a whole conversation about ethical technology. People who work with information, consultants, lawyers, social media people, journalists, those poor people who have to consume information, feeling burnouts, lots of them complain. People who run their own businesses, small businesses, huge issue. I'm just putting some of the people I've met. If there is somebody from my current students, past students, or from the audience who knows other kind of sectors where really this help is needed, please add in the comments. Now lots of companies move to digital transformation. Very few of them are thinking about the effect that it will have on humans. They start with implementing the software, and this is not the case. It should not be the case. Same thing with remote work. Remote work is not about just giving to somebody a computer. It's very different. HR people, yeah. People who are trying to have more space in their heads, creatives, anyone with issues of digital burnout. Politicians, yeah, it's becoming an increasingly political question as well. They're looking for coaches, for consultants. And again, like if you follow a bit Time Well Spent or Human Tech now, Tristan Harris, he has been witnessing in front of the US Parliament. In Europe, it's slightly slower, but we're also picking it up in the UK. More about gaming addiction. I can talk about it later if anyone is interested. Any other niches anyone wants to talk about? No? Anything I forgot? And so what are the future jobs? Basically, all of you should have received the report. Yeah, if you had problems reading it, send us an email to coaches@consciously-digital.com, and we will resend it. But these are the more or less the jobs that we see emerging in the next 5 to 10 years that are already there. Yeah, the coaches, digital well-being coaches. I'll talk in a minute about what they do. This one probably you have seen a lot. Yeah, people who organize digital detox tours or retreats, where basically people are taken, they're deprived of their technology, and they're supposed to do some team building work. So if you like to be, you know, with people outside, that's very big now in corporate sector and education as well. Social impact investors. So it's investors who actually want to invest, with works really well for people in financial background, but they're looking for technology that is sustainable and that's ethical, and they need some criteria to evaluate it. Yeah, or maybe they work with startup founders. Omidyar network is a good example. Yeah, it's forming. Now it's still very much at the level of angels, but we can see the trend going there. This is a big one. Yeah, most big tech companies now look into digital ethics. Normally it has to do with artificial intelligence. We touch a bit only during the course. Salesforce recently hired one. Google has a whole committee. Like what it does, nobody knows because it's not open, but the opportunities are there. Very often, yeah, probably the most frequent request is a consultant in ethical technology design or marketing. You know, what's ethical? How do you create products that don't overwhelm users? Okay. So it's the other side of hooking the brain, unhooking. How do you unhook the brain? Coaches that work with families and help them reestablish their relationships and specialize in digital habits, and research jobs, of course. Yeah, it can be a researcher, and they can also end up in marketing, advertising companies. I would rather that not, because then this is going to be used against us. But the jobs are there, and cyber psychologist jobs are there as well, and we can already see them. Ivan, anything you want to mention or add about one of those?
We just had a comment about how it would be great if health plans started including digital well-being as an option in treatment providers, so not just massage therapists, for example, but that would give a great boost to the industry. Absolutely. Yep.
This is beautiful. And actually, in fact, if you think about it, I think probably at least a quarter of our students, they are qualified as, like either yoga teachers or some therapists, because I think there is a very big need for holistic approach to this. The advice switch off your notifications doesn't work in the world that's increasingly digitized. If all the food you can buy in the shop is with added sugar, it makes no sense to tell me don't put sugar in your coffee. We need much bigger scale of change. This is what I'm trying, at least, to convey. Yeah. Are you still with me? Okay, good.
Yeah, we all hear you. Well, I hear you.
And you're not and you're not too bored about what I'm saying, no?
No, we actually have two of the same question. What is a cyber psychologist?
Oh, so it's the same as research on human behavior, no more fancy. It's basically looking at our psychology, human psychology online. So it's, I think probably the closest thing to this is what Sherry Turkle does. Yeah, looks at how people's behavior, thinking change. Why are we so mean to each other online? Yeah. Why on earth are we swiping on Tinder and we don't even bother, to continue having the same conversation with the person we just matched with, because this is actually what most people do anyways. What do we get? What inquiries do we usually get as coaches? Now let's talk about one future job, which we do, which is coaching. So can you get my child off the screen? Number one, always. The answer is no, but I can coach with your family and see, where it's, what you can do as a family. Yeah, to agree. People complaining that they're finding it hard to concentrate. Anyone finds it hard to concentrate? Yeah. Many. People feeling anxious and really finding it difficult to continue working, but they still have to do things online. So this combination, especially when they have to use social media for work. I gave an example about ethical tech requests. Work remote, yeah, so that people accept this. This was like my favorite one. Yes, should everyone be in the open space if some get distracted and some not? That's the most frequent one in the last year. Can you come talk about mental health in digital age to our employees? And my response is no. I don't do this unless we're gonna do some coaching around this, because it makes no sense. Because you can come, well, the content is free online, and yeah, anyone can put together a talk in 1 hour. And it's not going to change anything. Unfortunately, it doesn't. Yeah, people will listen. They will say, "Yeah, that's very interesting," and that's it. Ivan, anything?
Yep, we do have a really great comment here about setting boundaries. So another typical inquiry is, especially now that I'm online, or people who are already online and working remotely, how do I set boundaries with my clients? It's just overwhelming when they expect me to be available all the time.
Yeah, absolutely.